All right, so this is 2016 exam 2, question 5. You define the function.
Okay, or define. Where do you find define?
You can type it in, or you can go to menu and then action and then define. Okay? Menu, action, define.
Got it. Yeah, but I can't read.
Alright. Okay.
Equals GX. Yeah, no, there's a bracket then. No, there's G then bracket X. Where's G? Bracket X. Equals.
Alright.
Oh, I did an equal sign and trying to do it. Delete. How do you put space in? Space. Square.
So now go to menu, algebra,
Menu, algebra.
solve,
Where the hell is menu?
menu, algebra, solve.
There we go. Algebra, solve.
Yep.
Yep.
Type in x equal to.
X. Where's? We need just a class to work out the calculator.
Yeah, this is the class we're working out. Okay. G bracket
I can't.
y, close it, comma, y. Enter.
What?
So exam 2 2016 question 11. Okay, what you need to do is define fx into the equation and then type in the function and see if it's working. So I'm going to define in the calculator fx is equal to x squared. Alright, and then now I type in fx minus fy equal to bracket y minus x times. Now, the calculator is not very smart, so if you don't put times, if you know it is a times and you don't put times, they may not know what it is about. They may read it as one thing. They may read, oh, this is handsome, this whole thing is handsome. So you need to put a times there to know, oh, this is a multiplication, like doing handsome times handsome, something like that. So if you see a times there, you need to type it in. So on the other hand, this xy here in the bracket, you need to make sure you put a times in between the xy inside the bracket. Okay, put a times. And now, after you type enter, they will give you the equation. If they give you the equation, if you got an equation look like this here, that means they are not the same. This is not equal to that. They're just telling you this is different from that. And now what you need to do is find out one of these rules, which you will get an answer which they will say in the calculator. After you define the right one, you type in this line here, you will get a true answer. So the true means these two signs are the same, which will give you the answer. So now the first one is definitely not, because they give you an equation. An equation means the left hand side is different from the right hand side at the moment. So now try to define B and then do it again. So now to define B, you don't need to type it again, you just go up and then highlight the things that you just typed in. Alright, something wrong with my calculator. So after I defined fx is equal to 1 over x, I do the line again, I find out the answer is true. That means these left hand side and right hand side are the same, which means the function is working. That means D will be the answer. So we just try and guess using the calculator, do the same thing, same step again and again. So you need to be very good with your calculator from now on. So whenever you do this question, okay, this is 2016 exam 2 question 4, you need to go to menu, algebra, fraction tool, and then proper fraction. And what you need to do is type in the equation 2x plus 1 and then control division, and then put x plus 2 in, and enter. You will get the answer straight away. Okay. Alright, so the domain, you can just type it in your calculator, domain, and then put in fx because you've already defined it. Make sure you comma x to get the answer, which is not equal to -2. So now the domain, you can write it down as domain, which is x. It can be all real number, but not 2. Any way you can write it, you can just write x cannot be 2. It's the same. Okay, but this will be more clear, and I will say they will expect this more. This one is the same anyway. Yeah. So, x not equal to, yeah, this either one of them will give you full marks. I can guarantee. Yeah, this is true. Okay. Now I'm doing 2015 question 1. Question 7b. Sorry. Solving this equation. This equation, we don't know what that is yet, but when I look at this equation, there's a negative there, so straight away I change the negative index to a fraction. And then the fractions also bother me because the denominator, so I have to times everything by ET. So I write ET here, ET here, ET here. And you can cancel the ET. My life is better without ET. And now the next step, I can write this ET times ET as ET squared, and then 5ET plus 8. And now, if I use A to represent ET, I can see there's a quadratic equation. I've got a 3A squared equal to 5A plus 8. And before we solve the quadratic equation, I need a 0 on this side, so I write as 3a squared minus 5a minus 8. And then now I'm going to do this cross method so that I can get the answer for a. So now the cross method is the factor of 3, which is 1 times 3, and the factor of 8, which is 1 times 8. One of them must be negative for 1 times 8 because this is negative 8 here. So now after we set it up, I can use the cross to do the multiplication. Alright, a squared means a times a anyway. So now I've got 3a times -1 equal to negative 3a. A times 8 is equal to 8a. Always add up your products and see if it's equal to what you want. What I want is this number here in the middle, which is not exactly what I want. So I need to do some change in this whole big circle. Alright, if I want to get a -5, I change everything here to negative. So this negative, this negative, this negative, this to positive. And now I can pick the answer because the circle in the bottom is the same as the circle on the top. This will be my bracket. The first bracket will be a plus 1. And the second bracket will be 3a minus 8. Alright, and now the next step will be I change the a back to ET. So change the a back to ET. And beware we've got a 0 at the back, so now I can move the 1 across to the other side. Okay, so I will get ET is equal to -1. Alright, the first bracket gives me ET equal to -1. And next bracket, I move the 8 across and then I move the 3 across. That means ET will give me a positive 8 over 3. And then the last thing is I want to find what t is. So I need to bring the t down. To bring the t down to the top, I need to log both sides. So I need to log both sides refer to e. So e will be cancelled. So now t is equal to log e -1. Do the same thing on this side. I log e on both sides. The e will go on. So t is now equal to log e 8 over 3. Okay. Now I've got two answers. One of them it is wrong because I see a negative inside the log. So I will have to tell people this answer here I need to reject it, and this is the final answer. Okay, this is the final answer. Okay, so you have to write down two answers and then say one of them is rejected. Okay.